What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Flames back at it again. With another Bible reading video. And today, man, we're about to be reading out of Second Samuel, or sorry, not Second Samuel. My bad. We're on First Kings now. We're about to be reading out of First Kings, chapters 5 and 6. Chapter 5 is a little short, so I'm just gonna add it in. We're just gonna do one full video today. Um, really appreciate y'all for watching, tuning in, and yeah, man. Without further ado, let's get right to it. Chapter 5. Preparations for building the temple. Now Hiram the king of Tyre sent his servant Solomon when he heard that or sent his servants to Solomon when he heard that they had anointed him king in the place of his father, for Hiram always loved David. And Solomon sent word to Hiram, "You know that David my father could not build a house for the name of the Lord God because of the warfare with which his enemies surrounded him." So basically he's constantly in conflict, right? He didn't have time to build this great temple for the Lord, which is to come. So the Lord put them under the soles of his feet. But now the Lord my God has given me rest on every side. There is neither adversary nor misfortune. And so I intend to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, as the Lord said to David my father, your son, whom I will set on your throne in your place, whom I will set on your throne in your place, shall build the house for my name. Now therefore command that cedars of Lebanon be cut for me. Those are like, in Lebanon, there's like these great trees that they're still there to this day, that there's like huge, thick cedar trees. And it's what the country's kind of, famous for in some ways. Um, and my servants will join your servants, and I will pay you for your servants such wages as you set. I'll pay you for your servants such wages as you set, for you know that there is no one among us who knows how to cut timber like the Sidonians. As soon as Hiram heard the words of Solomon, he rejoiced greatly and said, "Blessed be the Lord this day, who has given David a wise son to be over this great people." And Hiram said to Solomon, saying, "I have heard the message that you have sent to me. I am ready to do all you desire in the matter of cedar and cypress timber. My servants will bring it down to the sea from Lebanon, and I will make it into rafts to go by sea to the place you direct, and I will have them broken up there, and you shall receive it, and you shall meet my wishes by providing food for my household." So Hiram supplied Solomon with all the timber of cedar and cypress that he desired, while Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 cores of wheat as food for his household, and 20,000 cores of beaten oil. Solomon gave this to Hiram year by year, so they basically have like a trade route going, essentially. Um, and Solomon gave this to Hiram year by year, and the Lord gave Solomon wisdom as he promised him, and there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and the two of them made a treaty. King Solomon drafted forced labor out of all Israel, and the draft numbered 30,000 men, and he set them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month in shifts. There would be a month in Lebanon and 2 months at home. Adoniram was in charge of the draft. Solomon also had 70,000 burden bearers and 80,000 stonecutters in the hill country. Besides Solomon's 3,300 chief officers who were over the work, who had charge of the people who carried on the work. At the king's command, they quarreled out great costly stones in order to lay the foundation of the house with dressed stones. So all these people are just dedicated to build this one temple, which I'm not sure if it's the Temple of Jerusalem. It probably is. I'm not completely sure, but House of the Lord, I mean, it makes sense. Um, but don't take my word for that. I think, because I haven't read this. At the king's command, they quarreled out great costly. So Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders and the men of Gebal did the cutting and prepared the timber and the stone to build the house. Okay, yeah. That's the end of this chapter. The next chapter, the title was Solomon builds the temple. So this is probably the Temple of Jerusalem. Okay, chapter 6. In the 480th year after the people of Israel came out of the land of Egypt, in the fourth year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month of Ziv, which is the second month, he began to build the house of the Lord. The house that King Solomon built for the Lord was 60 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. The vestibule in front of the nave of the house was 20 cubits long, equal to the width of the house, and 10 cubits deep in front of the house. And he made for the house windows with recessed frames. He also built a structure against the wall of the house, running around the walls of the house, both the nave and the inner sanctuary. and he made side chambers all around. The lowest story was 5 cubits broad, and the middle one was 6 cubits broad, and the third was 7 cubits broad. For around the outside of the house he made offsets on the wall, in order that the supporting beams um, should not be inserted into the walls of the house. When the house was built, it was with stone prepared at the quarry, so that neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron was heard in the house while it was being built. The entrance for the lowest story was on the south side of the house, and one went up by stairs to the middle story, and from the middle story to the third. So he built the house and finished it, and he made the ceiling of the house of beams and planks of cedar. He built a structure against the whole house, 5 cubits high, and it was joined to the house with the timbers of cedar. Now the word of the Lord came to Solomon concerning this house that you are building. If you walk in my statutes and obey my rules and keep all my commandments and walk in them, then I will establish my word with you, which I spoke to David your father, and I will dwell among the children of Israel and will not forsake my people Israel. So Solomon built the house and finished it. He lined the walls of the house on the inside with boards of cedar, from the floor of the house to the walls of the ceiling. He covered them on the inside with wood, and he covered the floor of the house with boards of cypress. He built 20 cubits of the rear of the house with boards of cedar from the floor to the walls, and he built this within as an inner sanctuary, as the most holy place. The house, that is, in the nave in front of the inner sanctuary, was 40 cubits long. The cedar within the house was carved in the form of gourds, um, and open flowers. All was cedar, no stone was seen. The inner sanctuary he prepared in the innermost part of the house. So there sat the ark of the covenant of the Lord. The inner sanctuary was 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 20 cubits high, and he overlaid it with pure gold. He also overlaid an altar of cedar. And Solomon overlaid the inside of the house with pure gold, and he drew chains of gold across in front of the inner sanctuary, and he overlaid it with gold, and he overlaid the whole house with gold until all the house was finished. Also the whole altar that belonged to the inner sanctuary he overlaid with gold. In the inner sanctuary he made 2 cherubim of olive wood, each 10 cubits high. 5 cubits was the length of one wing of the cherub, and 5 cubits the length of the other wing of the cherub. It was 10 cubits from the tip of one wing to the tip of the other. The other cherub was also measured 10 cubits. Both cherubim had the same measure and the same form. The height of one cherub was 10 cubits, and so was that of the other cherub. Okay, so this is like very oddly specific stuff, but it's important because it's documenting how this was built and can be referenced, right? And it's also kind of like an authenticity kind of thing. Um, I guess if you look at it that way. Um, okay. In the intersection where we made 2 cherub all the way 2 cubits. 5 cubits was the length of one wing of the cherub. The other cherub was also measured 10 cubits. Both cherub had the same measure and the same form. The height of one cherub was 10 cubits, and so was the height was out of the other cherub. He put the cherub in the innermost part of the house, and the wings of the cherubim were spread out so that a wing of one touched one wall, and the wing of the other cherub touched the other wall, and their other wings touched each other in the middle of the house. And he overlaid the cherubim with gold. Around all the walls of the house he carved engraved figures of cherubim and palm trees and open flowers in the inner and outer rooms. The floor of the house he overlaid with gold in the inner and outer rooms. For the entrance to the inner sanctuary he made doors of olive wood. The lintel and the doorposts were 5-sided. He covered the 2 doors of olive wood with carvings of cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers. He overlaid them with gold and spread gold on the cherubim and on the palm trees. He also made for the entrance to the nave doorposts of olive wood in the form of a square. So if you can like envision this in your head as I'm reading it, like it looks crazy, and everything is going to be covered in gold probably eventually. Um, the 2 doors of cypress wood. The 2 leaves of the one door were folding. Um, on them he carved cherubim and palm trees and open flowers, and he overlaid them with gold evenly applied on the carved wood. He built the inner court with the 3 courses of cut stone and 1 course of cedar beams. In the 4th year, the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid, and in the month of Ziv, and in the 11th year, in the month of Bul, which is the 8th month, the house was finished in all its parts, and according to all its specifications. He was 7 years in building it, so it took 7 years for him to build this temple. Um, I'm gonna look up how much it cost. So the estimate would equate to, for the gold and the labor, how this cost, $300 billion would be the equivalent of just how much this temple cost. Not how much wealth he had, but just how much the temple cost. It was valued US dollars today, inflation, and everything changed like that. $300 billion just to build this temple, labor production costs. As a just a reference to how we understand the world today. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank y'all so much. And we're gonna get more into what's going on with this temple tomorrow. And the next two chapters are just gonna be talking about it. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all, and we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.